Are you worried that they're going to try and kill you? Why wouldn't they try and kill you, honestly?
They're savage animals. They are people that are sick, really sick. You have great people in the Democrat Party. You have great people that are Democrats. Most of the people in our country are fantastic, and I'm representing everybody. I'm not just Republicans or conservative. I represent everybody. I'm the president of everybody. But I've seen what they do. I've seen the lengths that they go to. When they make up the Russia, when that's exposed and they go down, and Barr should have gone after them, and other people should have gone after, and they did very late, because the Durham report came out. It was fairly good. It could have been a lot tougher, I guess, but it was fairly good. But it explained how corrupt it was. I'll tell you who did a great job was the Inspector General Horowitz. He did a phenomenal report. You didn't have to go to Durham. He did it on Comey and on, I guess, McCabe and some others, and it was a vicious, it was basically a true report, how bad they are. But these people are sick people. These are people that I think they hate our country. You want to know the truth?
Well, I wanted to start today's broadcast off with that powerful clip of Tucker Carlson asking the question to Donald J. Trump that no one has really asked, and that is, does he think he could be assassinated? When you think about that question in light of everything that they've done to Donald Trump, it really is a question that I think has to be answered. I mean, they have done everything to go after this guy. They've pinned false accusations on him with this Russia collusion narrative. They impeached him not once, but twice. They've called him and his supporters every name in the book, from white supremacists to xenophobics to bigots to racists to terrorists. And the whole nine yards. I mean, their rhetoric just keeps getting worse. And now he's literally sitting on numerous indictments, 90 counts altogether, and facing over 700 years behind bars. I mean, like I said in yesterday's report, we've never seen anything like this. And one could only ask the question, hey, if all else falls through and they don't get their way with these jailings and indictments of a former president and a presidential candidate in 2024, are they going to, or could they assassinate you? And Donald Trump really says something. He goes, look, these people are really, really sick. And in a roundabout way, he says, I wouldn't put it past someone to do that. This is why I encourage you guys to pray for Donald Trump each and every single day. No one should have to, answer something like that, but I do really fear for him and I fear for his safety. And that's why I've always kept him in my prayers. But the truth of the matter is, last night's debates and last night's Donald Trump interview with Tucker Carlson were very powerful. And I know Donald Trump's, or the interview with Donald Trump, by the way, got over 190 million views there on Twitter, completely blew up Fox News's Republican debate there for the presidential candidates. But that aside, I really wanted to hone in on Donald Trump's interview there because of a lot of things that were said. You see, while the Fox News interview was great, it's good to hear what Vic and Ron and some of these people had to say. The fact of the matter is Donald Trump is the leading candidate. He's got the most potential for becoming president. And what they were asking at the Fox News debate was barely scratching the surface. They did not ask the questions that the people needed to hear. They went around superficial stuff and asked about, climate change and very basic economic stuff, but not about the things that count, like the actual election and all of this other stuff. It was just very superficial. But Donald Trump and Tucker Carlson really got out there to the point where, and I don't know if you guys caught this, but the last minute of that interview was the most powerful. I would even suggest the last 2 minutes of the interview. And if you hone in on the concern on Donald Trump's face, having been asked that question, it really says a lot. And I don't know if a lot of people noticed it, but I'm going to show you that clip here in just a moment because I think it's very powerful. But the next thing that I want to say is in that clip, before I get to the end of it, Tucker Carlson also addressed Jeffrey Epstein. And he asked Donald Trump point blank, he says, hey, do you believe what happened with Jeffrey Epstein? Do you believe that he committed suicide, or do you believe that there's more to the story? And I'm not going to show the clip because it's a rather long discussion on here, and I want to really limit what clips I'm showing you. And it might be review for some of you, but he asked about the death of Jeffrey Epstein, and at least Donald Trump gave his legitimate answer. And basically what Donald Trump said was, yeah, I think Jeffrey Epstein did kill himself. However, and I'm paraphrasing here. However, I do see that there are a lot of questionable things that happened, and I can see why people are questioning the narrative. There's a lot of questions surrounding that, and I know a lot of people who don't believe that Jeffrey Epstein, killed himself. And that was his answer, kind of in a nutshell. So it really was intriguing to me that he even answered it for the American people, and it brings me more hope. But that said, I want to now hone in on those last couple of minutes because a very important question was asked to Donald Trump. And I think this is important to put out on my channel, whether you guys saw that or not. I think these are some important points that need to be honed in. And I want to really give my input on this. But Tucker Carlson asked him point blank, do you believe there's going to be civil war? And listen to his answer in this clip here.
Do you think we're moving towards civil war?
There's tremendous passion and there's tremendous love. January 6th was a very interesting day because they don't report it properly. I believe it was the largest crowd I've ever spoken before. And some of the crowds I've spoken before. And like July 4th on the mall, I think they had 1 million people there. But I think that the biggest crowd I've ever spoken before was on January 6th. And people that were in that crowd, a very, very small group of people, and we said patriotically and peacefully and patriotically, right? Nobody ever says that. Go peacefully and patriotically. But people that were in that crowd that day, very small group of people went down there, and then there are a lot of scenarios that we can talk about. But people in that crowd said it was the most beautiful day they've ever experienced. There was love in that crowd. There was love and unity. I have never seen such spirit and such passion and such love. And I've also never seen simultaneously and from the same people such hatred of what they've done to our country.
He's not wrong. I believe he's absolutely right. There is a hatred, I think, deep within all of us when we see our country falling apart the way that it is. And it makes all of us terrified, upset, angry, mad that we let it get this far. And it really is an honest statement. And so he kind of beats around the bush about this entire Civil War thing. And quite frankly, I'm going to throw up a picture right here on the screen. And I want you just to see the concern in his eyes. And this is what I'm talking about in the last minute. There's real concern in Donald Trump's eyes. And I believe he wants to heal if and when he comes back into presidency. And I think that's his agenda, is to bring us together, unlike what Joe Biden is doing, who promised unification and came and gave us the opposite. But I think Donald Trump has a real heart where he wants to fix this country and make us happy again for the country that we live and believe in and want to be a part of. But he really does beat around the bush when it comes to this Civil War question. In fact, I put out a report the other day, and I want to throw this up because I think it's important, but I put out a report the other day on Restricted Republic. I actually did a 2-part series that if you want to check out the later half, it is solely on restrictedrepublic.com. And the other part of that is first Trump, then his cabinet, now James O'Keefe. But if you want to check those out, Nigel Farage there on Restricted Republic says that he believes there is a Civil War-like split happening in the United States of America. And he's been a longtime friend of Donald J. Trump. So Trump isn't the only one that is afraid for the direction of this country. And by the way, if you really want to know what's going on and you want to check out that second video that really expands on everything I'm talking about today and what I talked about yesterday, get to restrictedrepublic.com, use the coupon code Lisa and the number 5 to get it for $5 per month. We're talking less than a cup of coffee to really dive in and get the truth about what's going on. But either way, there is this real passion, I think, coming from our side to want to fix what's going on, because we see ourselves headed in a very tyrannical and slavitude kind of path if we continue on this Democrat, progressive, international order, great reset crap that they want to pull in on all of us. But with that said, Tucker Carlson uses the last 30 some odd seconds to question Trump even more and really push him on this Civil War question and kind of dive in on Trump and see where he really feels. Take a listen to this clip here. And this is the clip that I'm talking about that very few people may have noticed, but take a listen.
So do you think it's possible that there's open conflict? We seem to be moving towards something.
I don't know, because I don't know what it, I can say this. There's a level of passion that I've never seen. There's a level of hatred that I've never seen, and that's probably a bad combination.
It's a real question. And really, do you think there could be open conflict? I'd love to get your thoughts, comments, and concerns on that, by the way, when I read below. But I want you to again notice, and I'm going to throw the picture up of Donald Trump and his eyes. I really want you to notice that he is deadly concerned, and you can see it written all over his face there. And again, this is something that I think, you're not going to catch, watching the Twitter feed. You're going to catch it if you go back and watch the clip. But there's a lot of concern in there. And the real fact of the matter is I'm afraid of the direction that our country goes in unless we start getting the right people involved. Now, there's been a lot of talk about the possibility that there won't be a 2024 election. I'm going to sit on the other side of that. I think we are going to see a 2024 election. Of course, there's a lot of things that the Biden administration could do. They can declare a climate emergency and stop the election. There could be another pandemic or whatever, and they could stop the election. I guess it's possible that could happen. I don't think that is going to happen. I could be wrong. However, what I do see in the 2024 up and coming election is I see it may not look like our normal elections. And I'm going to say I do believe, very unfortunately, that we could see an uptick in protest and rallies and things happening all across the country, and more tension as we get closer. I think we're going to even see a revival of some of the BLM, Antifa type stuff popping up all over the place, because there's very radical beliefs and very bad, violent kind of beliefs. And I'm against that under all circumstances, and I know you guys are as well. But there's a very radical left movement kind of moving in that direction, like we saw with some of the violent sides of the activists, the massive radical BLM activists and the Antifa people there who have been really reaping disasters, burning cities in history's past. I think we're going to see a revival of that. I really hope I'm wrong. I also think from the candidates themselves, I think we're going to get some twists and turns from the Democrats. I don't know if Biden's going to make it to run for president. I don't know if they're going to, say, hey, pull the 25th Amendment on on Biden, or his health is going to prevent him, or he's going to have to try to pardon his son. I just don't know which way. I see a bunch of Democrats moving against Joe Biden because they don't want him running. I see the potential, and this got stuck on my jacket, but I see the potential of, possibly Newsom being brought up, or even Michelle Obama if she's ever open to that. And I really hope and pray that doesn't happen, because best case scenario is we get Joe Biden running for president like he says he's going to, against Donald J. Trump. And I think we've got it in the park at that point, because so many, even in the Democrat Party, can't stand Joe Biden. Anyhow, wanted to kind of give my input on everything that went on. The last thing that I want to say regarding the interview, there was a point where Tucker Carlson and Donald Trump, Tucker Carlson asked him, hey, what is the most important, thing that you're going to focus on? And Donald Trump's, I don't want to just pick one, but for the sake of the question, he said, I want to really focus on the border. Now, my preference would have been that he would have said that I'm going to focus on these three-letter agencies and the corruption within these three-letter agencies, just completely dismantling them, like the FBI, the DOJ, and these kind of agencies. I really hope that would have been his first answer, but he went the route of border. And the thing is, if he doesn't get these three-letter agencies in line and fixed right, then he's not going to have the ability to do the things at the border that he wants to do, nor as a sitting president. So just something to think about. I wish he had had a different answer on that. But overall, obviously, I love Donald Trump. Anyhow, with that, I hope you guys are doing well. Thanks again for listening. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.